Hey, jazz lovers, it's Blair Benoit, and we're back here backstage with Kirk Whalum. Kirk, welcome back to Long Beach. You have been with us for many, many years. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like for you. I mean, it's definitely been a pleasure and an honor for us to continue to work with you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I got to tell you, I met a guy named Al years ago when I was playing at Birdland West. And during that time, my wife and I were raising kids here in Pasadena. And so we had moved here from Texas, but originally from Memphis. And it was great. It was a historic place to play. And so when I got the call to come play there, it was a big deal. And that's one of the memories that we take back, now that we live back in Tennessee again, in Memphis, of our time here in L.A., to come down to Long Beach and play Birdland West. Because, Birdland East, Birdland West, it's sort of like affirmation, like, you really are a jazz musician of sorts. So, it's been a great experience.
That's awesome. It's been amazing to have you. And speaking of memories and going down memory lane, your career is amazing. Grammy Award winner, you've worked with Babyface, Jonathan Butler, Whitney Houston, everybody. Tell us, what would be your favorite memory? What's one of your favorite memories?
Yeah, I'll say I'm going to mention two. One is that moment that I realized that, at a club in Houston where I was playing with my band, no records out, no nothing, that someone had gotten in their car to drive all the way across town to hear my band. Okay, that's a big deal. It's like, wow. I'm fresh out of college. In fact, I was actually still in college at the time. So that was a big deal for me. And so now, writ large, that's what I live now, that people, come out to hear me play in whatever city that happens to be, even in places like South Africa. And we just came back from Kenya. And I guess the other big memory, speaking of South Africa, would be being on stage with Whitney Houston. 75,000 people knew South Africa. Apartheid has ended. It's 1994. One South Africa concert, live on HBO, 7 million people plus, and playing Amazing Grace. This is the first song I learned. So that's the type of thing that you can't really, there's no way that I would have known that. And I'm just glad that I kept with it and I kept trying hard, with music. And now I'm 57 and I get a chance to, still do what I love to do, but also kind of relish those memories,
And 57, quite an expansive career. Is there anything that you feel like you haven't done yet, that you haven't reached at? Are there any goals, any aspirations that you still have?
I want to play with Brandy. Love Brandy. And that's my answer to every question in interviews about that. And I tease her about that. But I did record with her on a song for her dad on a gospel record. But I guess really one big thing, I have lived in Europe and we lived in Paris for a while, but I never got a chance to really, really tour Europe as a solo artist. I've done it with other people, with Bob James, with Whitney Houston, Larry Carlton, but I've never done that as Kirk Whalum. So that's something I really want to do.
And tell me a little bit what it's like being with Rick and Norman. And I hear you guys have a new album coming out with all originals.
Yes. So it's kind of our maiden voyage in a sense because, as BWB, it was kind of a fun thing to do. But we did the record and we sort of went back into our corners, and he's touring here, I'm touring there. But then to have the opportunity to actually say, okay, now are we going to be a band? And can we be a band? Like, can we sit down in a room and write songs and then not get on each other's nerves? And the answer is no. We got on each other's nerves. It was great. We had a ball. And yeah, we are a lot closer, because, that experience of, making music together from scratch, And so this new record, we're really excited about it's sort of like, this is our sound. We're like, do we have a sound? We didn't know the answer to that. And we were so happy when the first 2 or 3 songs we finished, we're like, hey, man, we actually have a sound. So, it's very exciting, Plus, Norman Brown and Rick Brown are 2 very bad characters.
No, I know. I was speaking with Rick earlier, and he was telling me a little bit about it. It sounds like you guys had a little powwow with some wine and good times, and we're able to form that cohesion really well. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing you up there tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Hello, lovers. It is Blair Benoit backstage again at the Rainbow Promotions Valentines concert, and we're here with Michael Langton. Welcome, Michael, back to Long Beach. Happy to have you here.
Thank you. It was lovely to be here.
We're happy you could spend your pseudo Valentines with us today. Do you have any plans this weekend?
A lot of rest. Yeah, a lot of rest. I've been on tour the whole month, and it's continuing, so I need a little rest.
I bet. And I know things are really kicking off for you. You launched your line of wines and cigars, which I personally am a fan of. So tell the fans a little bit more.
Well, I mean, it's kind of started for me with, outside the music. My ventures outside the music was with my cigars in 2006. And about 3 or 4 years ago, I got a call from an amazing winemaker in Paso Robles. Says, we love the jazz and the cigars. How about a Michael Langton wine? I'm like, are you sure you got the right guy? He says, yeah, no, I got the right guy. So I went up and met with him, and we started blending my wine and started the business. And it's been, it's a labor of love. I mean, it's a lot of, it takes a long time to get it all together, but it's been a lot of fun. And you meet so many different people in these ventures outside the music that I normally wouldn't meet, and I've really enjoyed it. And I get to drink a lot of wine, so it's not too bad,
So tell me a little bit about how the performance was tonight and performing with Kenny, and a little history about your guys' relationship.
Well, first of all, Kenny and I just have an organic chemistry that is just, for me, it's undeniable. I mean, we just have fun together. We like each other. We respect each other musically, but we're also good friends. And it's so nice to be on stage and Kenny come out and does his thing, and it just, you don't have to worry about a thing. He's got it, And we met through my producer of my last album, Soul Appeal. We wrote a song together, and he suggested that Kenny would sing it, and he did such a beautiful job. Song called Gonna Love You Tonight. And we just sort of like hit it off right away. And then we decided to go and do some shows together. So we've been doing a few shows. I'll tell you an interesting story. Is the first show we did together, it was in Las Vegas, and we got on stage, and all of a sudden the show was over, and we just looked at it going, what just happened to 2 hours? We had so much fun, and it went by so quick, and we said, we got to do some more of that. So we've been working together, and we're going to be doing some more stuff together. Yeah.
Well, we're very excited to hear more about that partnership. So tell us how the crowd was tonight, the energy.
They're lovely. Playing the festival, playing here, I remember they're very receptive, and they're into having a great time, and that is my job to give them a great time. I so appreciate all these people make a commitment to be here on Valentine's weekend, or any weekend for that matter, and they could be many different places. They decide to be here, so I want to give them the best time that they can possibly have. I so appreciate that they're here.
Tell us, what is it like to be in these more intimate moments versus when you're playing on the grand stages?
Well, I mean, they're all different experiences. I literally yesterday just came from playing the Memphis, the arena, the FedEx Forum in front of 20,000 people. I'm opening up for Barry Manilow, and I just love having a good time, and I love when people have a good time, and I don't care if it's 20,000 people or 100, as long as I have a great time and the energy is sort of an exchange of just beautiful energy. I'm great. You can't look at it how many people is there. I mean, there could be one person there. You got to give that person the best time of their life. That's just really the bottom line.
We're glad that you decided to give us your all tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Blair Benoit back here backstage at the Long Beach Valentines concert with Rainbow Promotions, and we have the lovely singer, Kenny Lattimore. Welcome to Long Beach.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Very good to be here. It's been a while since I've performed in Long Beach, so it is a pleasure to be back here.
So how does it feel? How was your performance? Tell me a little bit about the audience, energy.
Oh, the audience is great. It's a huge audience. I just came back from filming some very intimate shows, so it's a nice transition to be in front of a big audience again. I was very grateful to be a guest of Michael Langton's tonight. I was able to perform with him several other occasions, as well as record the song Gonna Love You Tonight on his album. So we've become great friends, and try to do as much together as possible, but I was grateful that he asked me to come tonight.
Yeah. We love Michael. Tell me a little bit, how did you guys get to meet and get to work together?
Actually, a gentleman by the name of Barry Eastman was producing Michael's latest album, Soul Appeal, and Barry Eastman happened to be the producer on my song For You. And he paired us together. He just said, you know what, I think this will be a good match. And if we wanted to do it, and I said, I didn't know him much. You hear little things here and there, but then when you connect with somebody, then you got to get all their music and you got to do everything, and you just are like, oh my gosh, this is a great guy. It becomes beyond the music. After a while, there's a brotherhood, and it's just a fantastic connection all together. So every time we get to perform like that, we absolutely do.
That's beautiful, and we love that. And the audience, I'm sure, loves to see that connection on stage. Speaking of connections, it's been a minute since you've been performing, and last year you had your album, I think, first in 8 years, right?
First in 8 years.
So tell us a little bit about what it's like to be back here and how that feels, and just kind of your journey.
It feels amazing to be back. I took about 7 years where I did perform, but I didn't do any extensive touring. I didn't release any albums for about 7 years while I raised my family. Raised my son, but my family went through a transition. That's kind of raising your family too, right? Yeah, I kind of raised my family up and transitioned them, and just tried to make sure that I did more than just see my son occasionally on the weekends or what have you, but really work on the foundation of who he would be, the fabric of who he would be as a man. And that meant me being in the classroom with him a lot of times, being with his friends, going out, understanding who he was from a core, and knowing that in the formative years, you don't get a do-over. You just don't. As an adult, sometimes things can pass and you can come back and say, well, do you realize that this you needed a change in or that? But when you're like between the ages of 7 and 12, or 5 and 12 even, it's so important that there's guidance through all of those years. So I was so happy that really God blessed me to be able to do it, because it's not easy to take off. Particularly when you have a lifestyle and then you have bills and things, and then it adds to it when you have the kids. So I was really blessed to be able to spend those moments with him.
Those formative years. That's beautiful. So you speak about kind of wanting to make sure you're the weaver of the fabric of the character of your son. Who has helped weave the fabric of your character?
I would say my mom initially, because she did not live as long. She died when I turned 21, and but it was amazing that another thing, in the infinite wisdom of God, he knew she would only be here for that time period. So we had a special closeness in that time period. And my father is still there for me, and I had a great stepdad too, because my parents divorced when I was 2. But what I learned was the value of friendship, and I learned that I had to just make good choices and treat people well as I continued to grow. And since then, I can say there have been others that have come along, peers that have been wonderful. I can't say that I had a great mentor. And as a result of me not having that great mentor, I think I have longed to be that for young men coming up, a source for information, a source for a character building, accountability, and like really pushing them towards greatness.
That's awesome. And is there a foundation, or are you doing that on a larger platform? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. The Kenny Lattimore Foundation is brand new. I've been forming it over the last 3 years, just making sure that what I pinpoint into is effective in our community, because I work with a lot of nonprofits. I absolutely love giving back, and there's nothing more rewarding than giving back. So as I started forming the Kenny Lattimore Foundation, I thought, there are lots of camps and things out there for musicians, basketball players, and of just life skills, kind of mentoring. But I wonder, is there anything for like vocalists? That somebody that wants to do exactly what I'm doing. And there's a guy named Nick Cooper that started an academy, and he and I are partnering to do a work. He already has the school up and running. It's just called the Nick Cooper Academy. And the 3 elements that we focus on is education, mentoring, and the arts. So it's a way for me to give back. I'm going to be scholarshiping some kids to the Nick Cooper School and working with them as well. Last year, I taught mic technique and stage presence. A couple years earlier than that, I taught branding. So industry professionals come together and teach kids really hands-on, give them experience. They do a photo session, they record a song. My son has gone through the program, so I wanted to know that what I was getting involved in was going to truly touch a child and point them towards greatness, really encourage them in that.
Well, that's beautiful, and we're so happy to hear that you're out here working with the youth and instilling greatness within them. That's a really beautiful story. We love to hear you giving back, just like you give to us through your beautiful music.
The music is so funny. Through the years, I can say this too, that this is a little more candid, that during the years that I was raising my son, I was falling out of love with the music industry, to be honest. And I really started to pray about what the purpose of it was for me again. And I was given this from God, that it was to always sing to the hearts of women and to the minds of men and encourage them in love. And once I got a mission, and this is like something that anybody could take, and it's something I would tell my kids if I was mentoring. If you have a mission and you really hone in on that mission and stand on it, it can inspire you in the toughest times, because sometimes I might be physically tired or whatever, and it's like, I don't feel like going out on stage, I don't feel like doing this, but it's to the hearts of women and to the minds of men that I have to go out to encourage them in love. So it's like you got to go and you got to fulfill that mission, and it puts things back into perspective. And I'm just very happy to be on that mission. It's renewed, it is refreshed. I feel great about it. You're going to see me a lot of places because I'm surrendering to that mission so that I can just continue to inspire people towards love.
Well, praise God that you are back in love with the music industry, because we have always been in love with you. And no better day to get that news than the day before Valentine's Day. So, great show, Kenny. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much.
How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. Ready to play a show.
Ready to play a show. And you'll be playing with a few of your friends, correct?
I am. They are my dear friends for many years, Kirk Whalum and Norman Brown. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit how this trio got formed.
It started many, many years ago in a faraway galaxy. We were, Norman and Kirk and I were on Warner Brothers Records back in the day when George Duke and Foreplay, everybody in the world, who was anybody was on Warner Brothers, and I was fortunate enough to be on that label. And Matt Pearson, who was the president of Warner Brothers Jazz and a trumpet player himself, had the concept to put us together and to form a supergroup. And we did a record back then, and that was that was probably about 13, 14, maybe 15 years ago. And it was a great record, and we tried to repeat that about 11 years ago, about 2 years ago. Sorry. That's my wife. She's at a basketball tournament with my son right now, so decided to call me back. So anyway, that's how it got started. Part of Warner Brothers Jazz, a supergroup, and it's just grown from there. It's wonderful.
Well, that's awesome. And how does it feel to be reunited here today for Valentine's Day?
It's great. I, like I said, my wife's up in Portland. My son's a basketball player. He's 14, and so she's up there with him. And my daughter Emma, who is 16, just turned 16, she's my Valentine. So Emma and I just went out for dinner, and then she says, "What are you going to do tomorrow, Daddy? What are we going to do?" I said, "Well, where do you want to go for dinner? We'll go for a nice dinner and have a good time."
That's so cute. So it's Emma's a daddy's girl.
Absolutely. Emma loves hanging with Daddy. Although when she realized Mom's gone, she's like, "I kind of miss Mom." And I go, "Well, we're having fun though, aren't we?"
That's so cute. So tell me a little bit how you balance family life and the music industry.
It's always tough. I mean, I do miss, especially with the kids, still being 16 and 14, they need me around so much, especially my son. So, it's tough. I mean, when I leave town, I always wish I was not leaving town. But then I get out there and I'll be somewhere and playing a show with my friends, just like we're going to do tonight. And I get up on stage and the energy from the audience is just magnificent. And this is why I started playing my trumpet when I was 8 years old. So, it's kind of like it's a plus, it's a minus, it's a plus, it's a minus. But when I go away, everybody's glad to see me when I come back. They don't get as tired of Daddy being around, so it's kind of cool.
You started playing the trumpet at 8 years old. Were you just instantly attracted to it? Did you instantly feel like this was a route you should go down? Or did you kind of have a little bit of a journey?
It's always a journey. I mean, there's no straight lines in life. It's always a front and back and left and right and up and down. And, laughter and tears, and so there was a journey. But at the end of the day, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And the bonus is I've been blessed enough to produce and engineer and help other people create music over the years, and I've done a lot of that, including the new BWB record, which is coming out, I think, in about I'm thinking maybe 2 months. It's a real garage band fun record, and I was these guys were crazy enough to trust me. It was in my hands to produce it and record it. And we're going to play one song from it tonight. There's a song called Bust a Move. We did actually a lot of gang singing like, the whole band just singing. So there's a combination of jazz and funk, and a lot of playing, but a lot of great melodies and great feel.
Good luck out there tonight, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Blair. Pleasure.
Hello, jazz fans. It's Blair Benoit, and we are wrapping up the 2016 Rainbow Promotions Valentines concert, and we are here with our final guest of honor, Norman Brown. Hi, Norman. Welcome back to Long Beach.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you back. Tell us a little bit how you felt out there performing with the rest of the BWB band members.
Fabulous. I had a ball. It's a blast. We fire off of each other and we create this energy, and it's a beautiful thing. I love to watch the people's expressions. They smile and their eyes light up. It's just wonderful. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show, by the way.
Of course. We're always happy to have you. So I know that you hail from Kansas City, and I hear you picked up the guitar when you were 8, just a little tot at 8 years old. So tell us a little bit about the evolution of your relationship with the guitar and with jazz in general.
You've been doing your research. You're absolutely right. Yes. Originally born in Louisiana, grew up in Kansas City, started at 8, followed Jimi Hendrix, George Benson, and Wes Montgomery. Those were my guitar heroes. Played in local bands all throughout my young life, And after graduating from high school, moved to Los Angeles to study at the Musicians Institute. And after that, I started teaching, actually. I taught for about 12 years until I got my first record deal with Motown. Yeah, absolutely.
And then from then on, did you leave Motown to go to Warner Brothers, and is that how you met the rest of the boys, Rick and Kirk?
Absolutely, yes. I made 3 records over at Motown, and then I went to Warner Brothers. The head of jazz over there put us together, said, man, I want to see y'all do a record together. And we did. We came together and made our first record, Groovin'. Yeah.
And that was back in 2002, right?
2002, yes it was.
So tell us a little bit about the evolution of the group from 2002 till now. And I hear you guys have a new project coming out soon, all original content.
Yes, excited about that. We made that record in 2002. We did a tour. Then we each went our separate ways, following our own careers. Fans were on our case. We want to hear more BWB, get back together, do another record. 11 years later, we came together and made Human Nature, a tribute to Michael Jackson. Went on tour again, and then we decided we need to do an original record of our own music, come up with our own sound, and that's the record we just finished, which will be released in April. It's called BWB, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Tell me a little bit about how you discovered your own individual style and sound with your journey in music.
Well, like I mentioned, those 3 guitarists that I loved, I went to school, started studying, and as I learned more harmony, I began to write songs. And I believe that's when my voice started to come alive, And I was playing locally around town all over the place. A place called Birdland West. I played over there. I was getting my thing together, and I got to see the reaction of the people and shape the tunes that way. I found what they dug about my sound, what they dug about my playing, the scatting thing, and, kind of catered my writing to that. So that really helped me develop my style.
Nice. And your style kind of runs in the family a little bit. I know you have a daughter that went to the Berklee College of Music, right?
Absolutely. Actually, almost all my children do it. Yeah, my oldest daughter went to Musicians Institute, the school I went to and taught at. Rochella went to Berklee School of Music. Keisha went to West Point. She actually went to the Army School, Yeah, it's awesome, absolutely, but she still plays her bass. And, so that's in the genes, yes. DeMille, you heard him tonight singing. Absolutely, yes.
What are a few of your other mentors or other people that you feel like have paved the way for you today?
Well, I tell you what, in terms of spiritual development and musical development, Maurice White, with that fabulous group he put together called Earth, Wind, and Fire. I still cannot get enough of listening to their music. It's inspiring, uplifting, empowering. It's just all around, what I believe music should be. It's here to make us feel good, teach us lessons, comfort us, make us, you know what I'm saying? So, man, they had the biggest impact on me, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Maurice White. So we're going to miss him dearly, but he left us so much to remember. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing your time. We're glad that you were able to fill us up with love at our Valentine's concert. And it's great having you back in Long Beach.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back. Thank you to the wonderful fans. And, of course, Kim and everybody at Rainbow Productions for having us here. And we've been doing the business together for a while. It's just wonderful what you guys are doing. And thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.